Some load development for the LMT AR10. I got these HORNARDY modified cases, which are basically just cases that are threaded and I think 2/1000ths over the neck tension to get a bullet in there. I finally got this overall length gauge. This is the curved one. There's also a straight one for bolt action. The way this works is you thread on one of these modified cases right here on the gauge, then you slip a bullet in, then you put this whole assembly into the chamber, then you loosen this little thumb screw, and then you push this is like a spring almost, this brass coil. You push the bullet back and forth until you can feel the bullet engaging the rifling, technically engaging the lands. And what you could do is the instructions say to put it like a wooden dowel so that you can play with it back and forth. With one hand you can push this coil in, and then you can push it back out with the dowel. Then once you figure out where that bullet is touching the rifling or the land, then you can lock down this measurement, pull this whole thing out of the chamber, and then there's a surface here to put your caliper and measure that distance. And then depending on what you're going for with your load, you can either sit your bullet right where the rifling starts, which some people say is the most accurate type of load, or what this manual recommends for reliable feeding and extraction, and also for safety, I think especially in gas guns or semi-automatics, is to seat the bullet 200ths to 400ths less than the measured maximum to the rifling. They go through it in here of why it's a good idea to not seat it at the maximum. For those of us who shoot from magazines, it may not reliably feed from the magazine. I'll show you how this works. So I got two different ones to measure here. I got a couple different 308, the modified case. It's just threaded, and then you take your whatever bullet you're anticipating reloading, you just slide it in, seat it, push the bullet up until you can feel it engaging the rifling. For the LMT Mars, and make sure the bullet or the brass is seated, and then we loosen this. They say to use about 3 to 4 pounds of pressure, and yeah, I mean, I'm doing this with one hand, so I'm gonna come back with two hands. I'm gonna stick a dowel, a wooden dowel, through the barrel, and then I'm just gonna play with it back and forth. All right, so I put the bolt here holding the back of this in, and then on this side I have a wooden stick, and I'm just pushing back and forth to see what that feel is. And they say only really light pressure, because you can jam the bullet onto the rifling. So lock it down, pull the bolt back, and then they say to ease this out of here while putting a little dowel pressure on. And that's gonna be the max overall length. So see here, it's got a little shelf or a cutout to be able to measure. So this again is moving freely, but we have it locked on this backside. So we will measure this. Now there is a special tool that sits on the radius of the bullet that allows you to measure it more easily, but that's another tool that I don't have, so we'll just carefully try to. That first bullet was a Berger 185 grain, and the measurement I got on the LMT AR10, and the measurement I got with this 185 grainer is 2.7125. Again, that's the Berger Classic Hunter. Now this is the Sierra Match King 168 grain TMK, whatever that tip is. This one comes out to 2.8. It's interesting because the 168 grain Sierra Match King TMK is 2.815 to the lands. And the interesting thing about that is the PMAG, the AR10 PMAG, it has a maximum seating of 2.815. But the Hornady, the instructions here say to seat less 0.02 to 0.04. So we'll be under that. Yeah, so if you're gonna ladder your loads, so you could do 0.02, 0.03, 0.04, shorter than the engagement to the rifling, just as they say for safety. I think for those who don't want to buy all these tools, unfortunately I don't have 175 grain Sierra Match King available. Well, when I do, I'll make another video for you guys. These Bergers are excellent too, by the way. These are 185 grain, though they're a little bit of a bigger honker, but that one was 2.7125 to the rifling. Anyways, I'll put links to these tools. These are Amazon, they're easy to get, but I was actually pretty happy with this, using this Hornady. Figure out what all the chambers are with different bullets. It kind of adds a nice known quantity to be able to work off of, and then it can always mess with the ladder, what's going to shoot the best out of a specific rifle. I'll report back on the LMT. So for those of you that have AR10s, I'll also work on the AR pattern, and I'll report back on that. If your seating depth, you want a magazine that can seat a longer 308 bullet than the PMAG AR10, you got to get the Knights and maybe the Lancers. I'm not sure about the Lancers, but the Knights are the go-to, but they're so expensive now. They're $100, $120 each. But it might be good to at least have one. Be loading up. These are some new Starline 308, and we got them all primed and resized. Got some new dies I've been trying out, and these were resized, full-length resizing initially. Thank you to all of our current subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe to the channel. We will have some new, fun, exciting, amazing content coming up for you guys.